Oh, that's a funny picture.
It is.
Good morning, Bob.
We got 9 o'clock on September 29th, called this Board of Supervisors meeting to convene. Roll call. All members are present along with Board Secretary Sheila Shackleton. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
Sorry.
Motion by Travis, second by Scott to approve September 29th agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Approve the minutes from last Monday, September 22nd. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Isaac to approve the minutes from September 22nd. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Acknowledge the environmental specialist Derek Lechtenberg moving from part-time to full-time with the 3% wage increase for environmental health effective September 22nd.
And this was part of the budget amendment.
So the Board of Health did approve pending our public hearing and appropriation. They approved it on their September 19th meeting, I believe. All we're doing is acknowledging for payroll reasons.
Make motion to acknowledge it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Isaac to acknowledge Derek Lechtenberg as environmental specialist going from part-time to full-time, effective September 22nd. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Acknowledge wage adjustments for public health agency effective same date, September 22nd. You guys got that spreadsheet in your packet. The department, Lisa, has looked over them in the auditor's office. So I think we can just do one flat motion of public health agency employees.
Make motion to acknowledge the wage adjustment for public health agency effective September 22nd, 2025.
Do you want to add 3%?
And 3%.
I think that'll be clearer. Is there a second?
Sorry.
Motion by Steve, second by Scott to acknowledge wage adjustments for public health agencies, 3% effective September 22nd, 2025. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Wondered if we should go back and make a second motion on Derek's and what do you have down, Sheila? Just part-time, full-time?
Yeah, go from part-time to full-time with a 3% increase.
Everybody okay with that? Review and approve Chickasaw County office holidays closing schedule for 2026. Sheila?
Yes, I thought I better get this going, so the people that want to make plans over the holidays. So we got this together for January 1st through December of 2026 through December 25th or 31st of 2026.
These are 10.5 per county handbook, which also reflects the union contracts. Or does the sheriff's office give it? They might get a letter. This is courthouse hours of business for the public. Is there a motion to approve the Chickasaw County office holidays for 2026?
So.
Is there a second? Scott, is it Isaac saying something?
Yeah, second.
Perfect. Motion by Scott, second by Isaac to approve the 2026 holiday closing schedule for the courthouse. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, anybody opposed, motion carried. Do we have any public comment today?
No, but let me check if I can. Any public comment? Nope.
I did.
Oh, yes, sir.
If I may.
Yeah, you can.
Next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, our office will be closed. All staff members will be participating in the training
So it's Monday,
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday, Friday.
And so I'll be getting with you. I get a public notice in the paper.
Thank you, Rick. Now I'll move down to Roman engineer. Good morning.
Morning.
3 things on the agenda. Acknowledge the retirement of Joe Denner effective October 24th, 2025.
Yep, so Joe was with us for 27 plus years and he's decided to retire. Very much appreciated what he's done for the county over those years. We're gonna miss him.
Any questions or otherwise acknowledge the retirement of Joe Denner, secondary roads?
Make a motion to acknowledge retirement of Joe Renner, effective October 24th, 2025.
There was a motion by Steve, second by Travis, to acknowledge the retirement of Joe Denner effective October 24th, 2025 from the secondary roads department. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Which then brings the next one, authorize county engineer to fill the open position of operator laborer.
So yeah, this position currently does the Nashville one-way route. So if we don't fill it, we're gonna have to shift staff. That would leave us short-handed in blizzards and flood. Well, of course, flood situations, all hands on deck for that. But then he's also, they do primarily in the summer months, all the pavement maintenance, whether it be shouldering, mowing, crack filling, dura patching, the list goes on and on. Aside from that, brushing, running truck, filling in blade, it's kind of all over the place, it's a loader position. So if we lose it, we're gonna be short-staffed as far as some maintenance option, whatever they're doing from day to day goes. There's always something to do, so hoping we can fill this position.
I got a question. Does all 3 floaters have a snow route?
Yeah. And Joe, well, you know, he was kind of the guy that if we did need a blower, which our blower is archaic, he was familiar with it, so he was kind of our main man with that, but I know the other guys learning from him, we're gonna be just fine as far as keeping that, you know, expertise in that equipment, so.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, with major snowfalls, you can't get it done with any less people.
Yeah, if we cut the position, we're gonna be less productive. It's gonna be less efficient, there's gonna be a cut in services, plain and simple.
So far to date, RSP has not been affected by House File 718. There is room to move pending what they do next session, but I'm open for this, so. I don't know if there's any feeling of not doing it, or is there a motion to acknowledge?
I'll make a motion to authorize county engineer to fill the open position of operator labor.
Motion by Travis, second by Steve, to authorize county engineer to fill the open position of operator/laborer. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye, anybody opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you for that.
Department update, Rob.
Last week, we did finish round 3 mowing on hard surface. We're underway in Nashua and the Saudi routes for the side roads, and that'll be round 2 completed, for side road mowing. We were blading through the middle of the week approximately when conditions got a little too dry. For the most part, the blade men were brushing around bridges and culverts, trouble areas, when it was too dry to blade. Aside from that, we were doing crossroad culvert replacements, on Jasper Avenue north of 130th. That was a real skinny box by Bronson's there. Kind of a dangerous one, so we got that out of there. It had to be almost 100 years old. Manure pipe crossing was installed on Stevens Avenue north of 150th. And then we did have a hole develop on the shoulder of B18 north of 150th. That was the end section of a culvert. Had a little separation, so we reset and retied that. We were shouldering on B56. Blade men, like I said, were either out blading or brushing, depending on what the conditions were. Bridge 1981 replacement projects. We got all the beams set in place. We got decking ready. We're planning on pouring that tomorrow at 8 a.m. With our crews, of course. Bridge 2400 on the Caldwell Blacktop. They poured guardrail, open railing posts. Hopefully we'll see the railing get completed this week. They did start breaking some pavement up to get our transition in, so hopefully we'll start seeing some fill this week as well. Office stuff, Bridge 1300 and Bridge 2000 for next year. Those are contract projects. We're working on final plans, utility coordination, and then right-of-way acquisition is fairly underway. We haven't had anybody say no yet, so that's good. 2026 pavement markings, we got those submitted to the DOT. That'll be a February letting. Myself and Nick in Howard County are coordinating. That'll be a shared letting. Basically 2 separate sets of plans. We're responsible for our portion, but we're gonna have the letting the same, so we try to eliminate or reduce mobilization costs, possibly unit costs on paint. See the proposed office building out at the shop. We've been having weekly meetings with the Tura. They got their civil plans pretty well done, the site plans, electrical, HVAC, all that stuff is well underway. Been coordinating with utilities. Everything's been going pretty good on that. If you guys are interested at all, or I can forward you the current set. Jake stopped in the other day and I just gave him one while we were talking. So if you're interested in that, I can get it to you. Job opening for mechanic, we had 4 total applicants so far. Sam and I interviewed all 4 of those. Apps are accepted till this Thursday at 3 p.m. So if you guys know anybody or anybody listening, the deadline for it is then. Otherwise, I'll be making a choice. If no one else applies this week, I'll probably making a choice on Friday and offering to the best applicants. Surveying B56 between Highway 18 and B54, that's a 2027 concrete overlay project, so Ben and Liza have been out there getting that done. I do ask anybody that's listening, if they drive that road, to be at least respectful of people surveying. It's a very busy road, so. FY26 state budget amendment, I generated that, submitted to the DOT for approval after we did the county one. Week before was more of the same, we already covered it. We were doing a lot more flood repairs that week, pulling up rocks in the ditches, erosion stone in several locations. We did find another washout on Beaumont South 130th that got repaired. It was closed for a day. Did submit the Iowa DOT annual report. And let's see, we had winter sand quotes were due. We got 2 quotes, which is typical pruning at $16,006.80. BMC $16,128. We had 1,200 ton on that request for quote. Had an estimate of 12.64, which I think was like a 4% increase from the year before, but can't remember exactly. So it was a little bit over expected, but we need sand to help people from sliding out through early winters.
Did you mention anything about the Caldwell Blacktop Bridge being opening?
Yeah.
You did.
I'm still hopeful, but I did talk with the contractor that I was getting a little fearful that we haven't had more progress. they've been bucking up jobs, they had a state job, really, I can't make them do, I mean, it's on them, we can charge liquidated damages and we administer the project, but they're responsible for their work, so, he told me, he goes, we'll get it done, if we have to work Saturdays, we'll get it done, so. I'm hoping we start seeing some dirt moving, because if we start getting a consistent frost, and then we're not pouring concrete, that's not good. I don't even wanna think about opening that road through winter with just gravel on it. I don't think I'd probably recommend that, but.
Sounds good. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Discuss open boards and commissions and direct the auditor for public publishing. In our policy, it said 3 months prior to the opening seats. You guys do have a list of open seats. Still need to do a little bit better job of trying to find somebody for Civil Service Commission. We still have 2 appointments that have never been filled. Going through the medical examiner, Dr. Lucas Brinkman will expire this December 31st. Board of Review has somebody expiring.
Board of Review,
Yeah, it's Melanie King.
and that's not the Board of Supervisors role, that's.
Should I take that out then?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's appointed by the conference board.
okay.
Do we have a recommendation though, and then approved by the conference board?
That'll be at the budget meeting in January.
Okay.
And Melody is, right now, is undecided if she's going to. Wants to be reappointed or not.
Okay. Well, the Board of Health, we'll have 3. Tony's up, Cindy's up, and then the doctor's up. The Pioneer Cemetery has 2 expiring, Dale Little and Judy Little. And then the County Conservation Board, Joanne Martinez, however you pronounce her last name, also expires December 31st. You guys wanna how do you guys wanna advertise for these open boards and commission seats? I know last year we had them due back like the 15th of December. So we can make the recommendation appointments like the 22nd or something, or the 29th. You want to advertise, just word of mouth, or county website?
All these people need to complete the new officer training as well,
Yeah,
funded by the new state code. So I don't know if you're advertising, if you want to throw that blurb in there, I guess my fear would be someone applies or you put on your application, I haven't seen the application form. Maybe you need to put a line on the application form that says you're required to complete a minimum of 1 hour open meetings training by house file. We have it in our office, we have a draft letter Michelle has ready to go to the new people, alerting them of that and giving them the information for it. But I'd be fearful if someone applies and then walks and says, I'm not gonna do that. We need to make sure that they know that they have to do that. That's not an application.
Yeah, did we clarify that if a reappointment,
No,
you still gotta take it?
Not reappointment,
it's
just
not
new.
reappointment, it's just new members.
But I would put that on the application going forward,
Yeah.
just to save yourself the hassle.
Yeah.
And I would recommend that new reappoint people do it.
And the other thing too on that is that if they're being appointed to a board to represent another board, that parent board or the board that they're coming from is responsible for that training. So like board supervisors is part of my conference board. So if I had a new member, new board supervisor member come to my conference board, it's the board supervisor's responsibility to take it, they provide that training.
Yeah, there's what, 1 or 2 this week? That's online?
Yeah, there is, yeah. We have 1 through Heartland and we got 1 through, Ayers and Queen.
Scott's already certified.
Yep, he's got a sheet.
You get that to Michelle. She's got a database at the office, so.
Oh, here, give it to me.
Perfect.
I
When this came up, I volunteered our office to keep track of everything, to take some.
Did you give it away? will
So,
give the other one.
Yeah, I should give the other ones out so everybody goes.
Oh,
so
okay.
we'll try to be the central repository for all those to keep records of all of them, and then when you get the new people appointed come January 1, we have a draft letter already ready to go to them that says they have to do it, and here's the links where you can go do it. So we've already, Michelle's already taken.
I wonder if we want it back earlier, just so people can get a head start on getting that training, because I know when we get it, you got the 90 days, and it's simple as sitting on a meeting and voting to approve the agenda as a $12,000 fine. If you crossed your 90 days.
Yeah.
So you'll be back by December 5th? Applications for these boards and commissions?
That probably would be bad.
Yeah, I think the Iowa Public Information Board is doing free trainings, but they're limited in size and scope. They're not, it's not an on-demand process where you can just go on Sunday night and do it from midnight to 1 a.m. It's an actual, you have to register, and there's a limited space, and it's only offered at certain times. But I think more and more private agencies are offering a paper program too, so. I would say sooner rather than later to get them back and can finalize and get them.
Are we responsible for like the libraries and or cemetery commissions?
I think the cemetery commission's on their list. I think anyone you guys appoint is on our list. The cities are on our list. But anyone that touches the board of supervisors, that touches the county or the county's a part of, is on her database list. It's 3 or 4 pages long.
So the cities are
The cities are not on her list.
not.
They haven't came to us and asked us to keep track of that. They keep track of it themselves, but anyone that we appoint to any of those things. So we have a representative on the city's board of adjustment, right?
Yes.
So any of those persons are on her list. Anyone that we appoint is on her list, just for safety's sake, to make sure. So whenever you guys appoint someone, in theory, our office will be letting know, so I'll be sitting up here and then showing her in the database, we'll send them out a letter, we'll make sure we get it finalized, and I'm right now.
Is it the county's responsibility then to make sure they have a certificate? And then if they don't get it within 90 days, can we
I think you have to
that?
remove that, I think you have to. I think you have no choice.
So is it as simple as you could remove them and then reappoint them and then
Well, I would
say, you've
think
got
so.
90 days
Yeah.
to do this?
I mean, I hope we don't go down that road, people are gonna get it done, but I'm fearful that someone might apply and then realize they have to do that. Now, I don't think it's that painstaking of a thing, I understand that. But, I mean, this is gonna cover everyone, so this is gonna cover township trustees, clerks, I mean, soil and water districts, I mean, everyone who touches everything is gonna be involved with this.
And I would think that most people would want to take this class because nothing is worse than going to a meeting and not really understanding, the rules. So I would think that instead of me handing them a book about open meeting rules, that they'd rather take the class and just hear,
All right, discuss all boards and commissions. You guys going back on December 5th?
I'd say December 5th, and newspaper, county website.
Sounds like a motion, right, Scott?
Yeah.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
Who did second?
Steve?
Oh, thanks, Steve.
If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. All right, discuss TIF projects urban renewal plan. This was on here again just to make sure we got everything lined up for the October 6th and the October 13th. I know she was working with Jason to get the questionnaire done, but they are planned for next Monday. Is a public hearing, I believe, and then the bond is the 13th. The revenue. We can circle back to Homeland Energy Solutions, since Beth is here.
You're asking me to answer your question
Yes.
last week, so speaking of open meetings, pertinent topic, you are allowed to send someone to negotiate. I will sign off on that. But the person that is negotiating cannot bind the board, obviously. And there is no provision in closed session for this type of negotiation.
Correct.
So I'm fine if the board wants to send a negotiator to Homeland and Ray wants to tag along, you don't need to tag along, whomever. But it needs to be made clear at the beginning of that session that that person cannot bind the entire board. That person's just there trying to do what the sentiment is the best for the community, the best for the board. That person will have to bring it back to the board, and then you cannot have a closed session to discuss and negotiate, I guess, amongst yourselves and then counter, or however you figure that out. So all that's gonna have to be done in open session. And then obviously, if and when you decide to enter a development agreement, if you get that far, that'll have to be on the agenda. You'll have to give the public a chance to review it and come in and comment on it, et cetera, since it is tax dollars. That's gonna be.
So is that gonna be like a hearing?
I don't think there's anything in the code that says it has to be hearing,
Just to
but it
come in.
definitely should be on the agenda, it should be available beforehand, in my opinion. If it's something like that, that we're spending tax dollars and shifting them to a
So I put it,
business, it should be available for inspection before the hearing, so the public just doesn't come up at 9 o'clock and see it. I think it should be out there in the public sphere, so the public can have a chance to review it and then come in and comment or submit comments if they want. That's what the plan is, but the key message I'm trying to send here is that there's no ability for you to go into closed session to negotiate this. It all has to be done in open. However, you can send someone to negotiate on your behalf and try and get some of the details hammered out, but that's going to be conditioned upon board approval in open session.
So I'm just gonna go back then, I guess what would be the purpose if only one individual knows what one thinks?
Well, that's a good question. So that person goes there and says, hey, we want to take it from 90 to 50 or 30 or change the 5-year plan or whatever. I suppose it allows a free discussion amongst a representative of the board and them to try and discuss the pluses and minuses of it and figure out some sort of plan. And then that person will come back and present it to the board and say, here's what we want, what they want to do. How do you want to respond? But it is a little bit cumbersome because ultimately it's going to be up to the board to decide. The board's going to have to discuss that in open session. You can't come back in closed session and discuss that. But it's not entirely uncommon. I mean, I think a lot of larger communities discuss development agreements and these types of things, and they send a representative from the board and whoever department it is. It might be the assessor here. If it's a Parks and Rec thing, it might be someone from that, or if it's a zoning issue that they're trying to work out for the developer, they send someone from the board, someone from the zoning commission to try and work out the details or iron out some of the details, at least get it in a draft form perhaps. Maybe that's what you're after, is to say, hey, let's get something in writing, a draft proposal, and then bring that proposal back to the board for comment. Because right now you have nothing other than an offer and
Correct.
an offer. So maybe that's the goal, is to try and have a couple people from the county, one supervisor, go and try and hammer out some details and get at least something in writing that is a workable document the board can then work on. That's up to you guys.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you can't, there's no mechanism for closed session, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Does that change anything from a couple weeks ago?
Well, I think that we should appoint somebody to go negotiate, at least get the draft. So we have a starting point. That, I just feel like if we don't, we're just gonna sit here and stare at each other and not do anything.
Do we want to enter a plan? I did have a couple phone calls from people in the Chickasaw County area. Does this open a window for other businesses in the rural part to come and ask for some business agreement? I'm just gonna throw that out. Just think about that. Yeah.
I think, Jake, you need to also worry about your December 1st deadline for, limiting potential agreement, because that would create the 24 assessment with, as the base year. You know, I'm just throwing that out, that's something you might want to consider, and business chasing on as far as what your time frame as far as making a decision and agreement. You know, what's gonna get included if you do it before December 1st or after December 1st, what will become the base year.
And I don't know, I can certainly happy to go along and help and draft whatever I can help draft, but I've heard anything from Homeland side that I've been up here. The project is already underway or,
That phase one pretty much
Yeah.
done.
and I haven't heard anything as far as jobs, other than the construction jobs, any permanent jobs. I mean, we've talked about that since I've been up here in the 4 years. I've been up here about permanent jobs, and we were trying to do one for Fredericksburg and another business at one time that was up here, but I haven't heard anything.
It was in the proposal. It
It
talked
is?
about the additional jobs that were added.
Okay. So I don't know if that would be part of the development agreement. I would certainly want that as your attorney. I would say if that's gonna be part of it.
And typically, when you do a development agreement like that, Jeff, it is subject to jobs.
If we vote on one member showing up, is that still open meeting laws? Since this body is recommending one to go,
I'm not sure I understand your question.
remember like your opioid committee, since this board organized it.
Yeah.
You have to, I was always told you have to take minutes and.
I don't think so. No, I think if you send just one person, you're just sending one person as a representative. I don't think it's a meeting. It's not a meeting of the board.
Okay.
And they're not a decision making.
No, that person has no authority to decide on it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
They're just basically gathering information and discussing the problem and then coming back with a recommendation or not even the recommendation, just information as to what's on the table and what was discussed. Yep.
I mean.
It might not even be a recommendation. It might just be, hey, here's the 7 things we discussed. Here's 5 of them that they seem to be willing to move on. Here's 3 of them that, they want it in there or they insisted upon it in there or whatever. But it is a bit clunky that ultimately when it comes back, it has to be voted on and discussed. It's gonna be a rookie session. Unlike a legal settlement where you can come back and say, hey, they offered X. Well, we don't want to go Y, let's go to somewhere in the middle. You can't do that here. It all has to be an open session.
Scott, would you like to go?
I would rather, I guess, I know Steve's recused himself, and I would rather with somebody with some more rural agricultural background be part of this myself.
Travis?
Not really.
Probably the best for me.
I'll go.
Where I'm at.
No, I got it.
And I don't know, and maybe you guys want to. I mean, maybe before you even go, you guys put down what you think or what you want, or maybe you throw the ball in their court completely and say to them, why don't you drop a proposal for us? Draft what you want, draft what you want in there, and then give that to us, and we can review it in open session.
They
Or
already,
put the ball in their court, that's what I was asking.
they already did.
We did, so you would want us to come back with something different with no counter, because basically we've said, hey, this is what we would like.
No.
The actual
And you're
document,
not gonna
the
get it.
actual document,
Okay,
I don't know. Yeah, I know what you're after.
I think that was clear.
Yes.
Crystal.
Did you provide very start 2 years ago probably already of your council's proposal?
Well,
Not the booklet, but wasn't there a letter from general counsel or somebody?
I think so, yes, for the original resolution.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a resolution to go in your books, yeah.
So they have a prepared resolution.
Maybe I didn't get that, so. I just was up here when they talked about 90%, so I
Gotcha,
didn't
gotcha.
see any of those documents.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think it's in our court to counter something, so. Or we can gather information, but that's all just gonna push time away, but. It is October this week.
October 14th is when we passed that resolution last year.
Oh, to include them into the TIF.
Well, given your comment, Jake, is there an appetite to enter into an agreement? So if there isn't an appetite to enter an agreement, then we're wasting everyone's time by working on this.
That's exactly what I'm trying to get to.
Okay, well, I'll get that for you. Because I don't wanna waste their time, more than I wanna waste mine to raise it before we be those bonus.
So I guess I can ask that question.
I'll be the first to say, I don't think it's needed. I think they're well established. It's not gonna hinder the project in any way. It's already started, so that's where I'm at. I'm not sure where everybody else is at.
I'm kind of in the same boat, like Isaac. And maybe what Jake said, opening up for other businesses to come to us, so I'm probably not. Yeah, I guess I would say, I've had a lot of people reach out to me in my district that are not a fan of this idea. And I guess I would say, given some of the new information we had in the last couple of weeks, do we want to remove them from their renewal plan? Also.
So that's two different questions.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
Because
just saying, if that's the way we go, that's the next question I have.
since we had them, I think I would speak on behalf of the TIF. If there's no business plan, the TIF is still gonna be collected by us. And we could use for a blighted project or a renewal project, right? So do we wanna capture those funds to have our own projects? Or let all tax bodies collect the tax base? Right, Rick?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how TIF works.
Just again, to kind of give you a little history, the original plant is under a 20-year exemption, from property tax. It will go taxable with the 29 assessment. They've had several, phases in which they have, added structures and stuff that Beth and I have worked together on and established values for those. They've used the 5-year partial industrial exemption for both of those phases. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a short history on where they are or where they have come from. So I believe at the present time, our total value that's subject to potential property tax is right around 29 million. That sticks in my head right now. Because what you have to remember is, in Iowa, the industrial machinery and equipment is not taxable. And so like the fermenting tanks and all of that is considered equipment. And so there's a large section or portion of their facility that is not taxable as real estate. So that just kind of gives you a little idea of what we're dealing with here. I believe you did have a spreadsheet that projected out when they do go taxable, what that tax would be. So
You're talking 2029.
29 assessment payable 30/31 is when the plan itself, the original plan would go taxable.
Yeah, I'm not for the TIF on Homeland, except for maybe we need to talk about job creation, like we did with the company for expert. So, did that answer your question, Beth?
I guess so. Is that a decision?
I think it is. It's 3, 4 of us.
For consensus.
But yeah, we can talk about job creation if it did create jobs.
Can you explain what you mean?
So in the past, some businesses in the rural part asked for job creation. Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, $1,000 per job. Gotta have the people on staff for what, two?
That's what we proposed for one of them, yeah. But I mean, everyone can be individual and unique and different. I mean, we're talking different amounts of money and different pots of money, so that's entirely up to you guys. But
Yeah, that was a Fredericksburg.
correct. And we never did finalize it, that's my knowledge.
No, we have not, Dave, that.
And it's still out there and we hammered it out and never got it signed. And I think the county had 4 years for me tomorrow, my 4-year anniversary. I think you've done some other ones prior to my being here that I'm aware of.
We have. So are we open to do something like that if they propose something for job creation and additional jobs that this project did, or?
I have no problem with that. I would be open to it.
So, I get with you how that worked.
So is that like something the county then writes a check to Homeland, or you get a discount?
No,
on your
we
property
write you a check out of, which one is it? Economic development, general basic fund.
Yeah,
So. All right, thank you. Anything else on TIF or everywhere?
All right, so just so I'm clear, so we're not gonna do a development agreement with them, and we're gonna keep them in the TIF, the project still will benefit them, or is that?
The TIF will benefit the county.
Right. Yeah, everybody in the county.
Correct. All right, thanks guys. Thanks, Ray. Committee assignments.
As Northeast Iowa Committee action, Monday, September 22nd. On the agenda, we went through the financial report and fundraising. Grants and, local fundraising.
Sorry.
Had Thursday, the 25th, I had a Iowa Northland Regional Housing Council meeting. We approved the revolving loan fund. We approved IFA 20 and IFA 21 accounting charts for the housing. Reviewed the grant applications and had a public hearing for the 22 grant. And we are in the process of changing the nonprofit part of the agency from a 28E to a 501(c), because the federal funding is requiring that be done now. And then set our December meeting date. We will go back to the revolving loan fund right now, where it is approximately $269,000 available for different housing projects. As far as what they're looking at right now, kind of is second floor apartments, like in a Main Street setting or something like that, where there's a business on the first floor. So if anybody knows anything or has a project, let me know, we can get to touch with Intercom on that. So that's all I can.
Thank you. Anything else? Anybody? I had a CSS meeting on Wednesday, the 24th. We made a firm motion that September 30th is the last day that you can submit a June 30th prior claim for mental health. Claims are still coming in. Some counties are not being reimbursed, so I think communication is lacking a little bit. So they're looking into paying some of those county claims that were submitted a couple of weeks ago, months ago. Any service provided in June 30th or prior, please get them to the CSS claims by September 30th. We need to close our books too. We're not gonna stay open just to pay these claims. That services rendered before June 30th. Balance as of August 31st is still 2.9 million. CSS is in very good financial shape. But we just wanna get done and submit that check back to the state DHHS, so. The next meeting will be October 22nd, here hosted by Chickasaw County. My goal as their chair is to make that most likely the last meeting. So. Otherwise, all CSS is paying claims, and that's pretty much all the business we have. Since that's all we can do. Otherwise, we have a 9:45 possible closed session under Iowa Code 21.5.
Jake,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna take off at what we're going to, you guys want that, well, it's this week, right?
The Board of Commissions, if you have room.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay, I just, I'll let them know, so.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Bob. Iowa Code Section 21.5 1K, reference Iowa Code 22.750 to discuss updated security procedures at county-owned property. Is there a motion to enter closed session?
Second.
There's a motion by Isaac, second by Steve, to have a closed session under Iowa Code 21.5 1K, reference Iowa Code 22.750. Any discussion on that motion? If not, roll call. Isaac?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Jake? Aye. We are now in the closed session. We will keep the attorney, the secretary, and Denny. All right, thank you.
You've been looking for it.
Have a good week, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
I got 11:07 and we were back in open session and there was no action out of closed session.
Got the sound back on.
Yes. Discuss future agenda items. And we don't have much for next week. I don't think
We got the public
we
hearing.
have the public hearing on the 6th, yes.
And
then
then
open
the snow
bids,
removal, yeah.
You guys all done with me?
Thank you, Denny.
You bet.
All right, if there's anything, let us know. Otherwise, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Isaac to adjourn at 11:08. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, anybody opposed? Motion carried.
Water. It's, I don't call them science.